The super flow of more jokes than Bazooka Joe, mixed between Superfly Snuka and a super hoe. True MC like El Chuba Nibre, digest the group and sell the poop on eBay. Danger with the vest, scream and shoot the DJ. Doom clicking over, 2 chickens, 3-way, 4 in the 5. Cork on the freeway, villain find a way to make them pay whatever we say. Welcome to Nerds Gone Rogue, episode 105. Now that Moose is tired of me quoting a rap song, Moose, how are you, sir? Great. Drink that beer all you want.
I'm taking a sip of my water, my beer. Yeah, I'm doing great.
And alongside us is the Nerds Gone Rogue progenitor himself, Todd Oxtra of the Secret Friends Unite. How are you, sir?
Charmed, I'm assured.
Welcome back. We're so happy to have you.
Yes. I am happy to be back. This is awesome. You guys are always a good time.
Yeah. Well, we try. We try and clean it up. We try and clean it up when the classy comes to town. I mean, I'm just saying. So
he's definitely classier than us.
Right, he is.
You guys get the ass in class.
Yeah.
We forget the C, the L, and what other word?
Whatever. We can't spell.
Todd, tell us and our audience about Secret Friends because you deserve a plug at the beginning.
Well, thank you. I was very pleased to be part of the Nerds Gone Rogue legacy. But my basically podcast legacy is in the world of geek media. So it'd be like comic books, movies, film, whatever, sci-fi, that type of geek genre. Yeah, TV, stuff like that. And then also video games. But my co-host, who's also my college roommate from back in the day, he is not into video games. So we don't really do a lot on that. So I try to put a little bit of video game spice in our podcast. So I'm very happy to be with you guys. But yeah, we have a Facebook group, but it's really focused on that video games, comic books and things like that era. Yeah.
Do you feel like he might be more acceptable of video games that are kind of like comic bookish, like the art style? Like, I mean, Banner Saga has a very comic book art style to it. Obviously,
it's short, it's story based.
Yeah, and the third one drops tomorrow, which I had no clue, and I'm like,
that's
awesome.
Yeah, they're just there's a train going with that series. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, because I think it's all coming out on Switch as well, but PS4 and everything else drops tomorrow. But anyways, do you think that's his issue, or do you think he's just like no video games whatsoever? I think we might have talked about this before.
I think we have, but he was big into the Lego video games for a while because I think that simple gameplay was enough for him.
Wasn't that his kids too, or no?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it was kind of his kids thing. And then he was a big fan of The Walking Dead, so I thought, naturally, the Telltale Walking Dead games would be an in for him. Not so much. And I've even tried to play games cooperatively with him, a Dead Rising 3 we played online together, and it wasn't his thing. He's not a big into Twitch gaming. He the controls kind of get in the way of him. So at this point, we've kind of although it's interesting, the PS4 Pro and Spider-Man is like his biggest thing in video games. He loves it. So in comics, so he may be interested in the Spider-Man video game, but I'm not sure. I think it's just a passing fancy. He's talked about a PS4, maybe. because some of PlayStation typically gets Lego exclusives too, as well for those things. So he may do that, but my aspirations for him to get into it are really low. But the other thing that's on PlayStation is the Star Trek Bridge Crew game, which is now
the PSVR thing, right?
Well, it's not needed for VR anymore. They basically made it
that's awesome.
Not needed for VR, and they added the next generation. So he is is the next generation. So that could be a big deal. The DS9, the next generation, could be a big thing for him. But I will see. I'll see it when I believe it. I just don't think it's something that draws him in. He's one of those people that will watch a TV show. I think he's watched Next Generation like 20 times in a row, the whole series. And I'm a person that I don't replay things because video games take up so much time that I really don't have that extra energy and time to rewatch or review things. So we're different on that edge, but we complement each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
Cool. I just pictured, like, you ever see are either of you South Park people?
Yeah, we watch.
I used to watch South Park like
you remember the episode of the South Park where the internet goes down and they have to they do like the whole Grapes of Wrath thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
All I pictured when you were talking about Charlie and Star Trek, The Next Generation, the Bridge Crew thing, like all I pictured was him as like Randy Marsh. When he finally gets to watch porn, he's just like, just covered in his own,
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing was when we were in college, he would sit on the couch and record episodes of Star Trek Voyager and Deep Space Nine on VHS and would cut out the commercials. I mean, this is how much of an auteur of a geek he was.
I mean, I could have some conversations about my favorite Star Trek, and I feel like the one I need to actually visit more of is The Next Generation, because I feel like I skipped it. But I really liked Voyager, and I don't understand why so many people didn't. It seemed like that got a ton of hate. I never really understood why. We don't need to go in that here.
Sure.
So, if you are a geek or of the geeky persuasion or interested in being a geek, you should check out Secret Friends Unite with our boy Todd and Charlie, who will teach you everything you need to know about every Star Trek ever. I'm in their group. It's daunting. Just because when he goes on Star Trek, I'm just like, oh no, here we go. and then I try and keep up, and it's just like, wow, I'm lost already.
I can't keep up on that group either. I'm just like,
it's also because like the way Todd was talking about, time is very precious, and I have a hard enough time keeping my own interests limited to the bubbles that they are, that I keep just going and finding new things.
Yeah.
Right. So like, that's more of my problem than a their problem, but it's a very good group. They're very funny individuals, and they're all very pleasant to interact with. I've actually, there's that, I don't remember his name is like, his Facebook name is like SM Ibrahim.
Yes. He's out in Minneapolis out here. Yeah.
I came across him in the Waypoint Facebook group, and I was like, hey, you're in Secret Friends. He's like, yeah, Todd's a good friend of mine. I'm like, yeah, Todd's awesome. I don't know you, though. I felt bad. But so we forgot to do something in the B-side, and I feel like it's probably better we do it in the main show. That way everybody hears it. Mm-hmm. So, Todd, I'm pretty sure you are aware that Corey is now a father.
Yes. Beautiful child.
Yes, beautiful baby.
Yes, she is. Well, I mean,
they're now giving up video games because of that child.
They now have two beautiful people and Corey in that family.
Yes, exactly. Baby didn't come out with a hat. I was surprised.
Yeah, true, right?
Sure.
So Todd, you have raised a wonderfully diabolical Mario Maker creator in Logan. He is 12 now.
Yes.
And I mean, for anybody who wants to dig back into the past, find Corey trying to play this kid's Mario Maker level. He literally sat down and be like, oh, Todd's son created this would be fun. 45 minutes later, he looks tortured. Like it looks like he got waterboarded with Mario Maker and didn't know how to get out of it. But I'm glad we have a parent on, because Moose and I are train wrecks of human beings who have hard enough time keeping ourselves breathing throughout a day. So, Todd, from one gamer geek to another, what is one tip you could give Corey in terms of being a father?
It's interesting as a geek. You always say, I'm going to raise them right by starting from ground zero and working them up. That's a great plan and all, but that's not how reality works. Every gamer child will develop their own tastes and what they are interested in. So you know what? Introduce them to things that you like, but allow them to explore and develop their own tastes. Just like all of our parents didn't say you will like exactly what they should like. My dad didn't force things on. He introduced me, but he let me find my own path. And don't be surprised if your kid likes things that you don't, and that's okay. My son, Undertale became his passion. And he said, Dad, I want you to play that. And so I'm like, that's not my thing, but I'm going to do that. But in turn, I'm going to have him play a game that I absolutely loved that he normally wouldn't find because it's an older game. And that's Shadow Complex.
Yes.
Very
great game.
It's not a game that's so old and looks so janky that it's like, oh my God, Dad, you're torturing me.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, suspend your disbelief first for like a few hours and then do like really hard mechanics like we had to in Nintendo's time. Yeah. But like, no, Shadow Complex is a...
Yeah, because it's not like, when you started off games like, oh no, play the Ralph Baer, Vectrex system, because you got to start from there. God. No, your dad didn't take you to play the Pong game. No, it's kind of this weird thing that
you have Pong though.
We did have Pong. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a Sears Pong game. There was Pong. Yes. It was tennis. It was squash.
I had a Pong plug and play. Like it was
highlight, maybe. Whatever they could make it look like a ball game.
I mean, if I knew how to overclock it, we could make it highlight because that game's really fast.
I think you actually put an overlay of like plastic on your screen too of your crappy TV and said, "Oh look, it's a tennis court." Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just you can learn things from your kid with what they explore and learn. And they can learn from you. It's reciprocal. So I am gonna try the Binding of Isaac, Undertale, because it's something my son is passionate about, and it's a game I never thought he would be interested, but it really challenged him in a unique way, and he loves that soundtrack. And I've actually learned from him because that soundtrack is really inventive. It's cool.
It is. It's really good. Like I want to get there are like 3 versions of that soundtrack on IM 8-bit, and I want to get all of them because they are all amazing.
Damn, IM 8-bit is awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's the actual soundtrack, there's like the side story soundtrack, and there's like the entire soundtrack just on piano, and it's all bananas. Like how good it is.
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely shocked, and like I remember I think the last time you were on, you were talking about Undertale. Yeah. And I think Moose and I respectively said, yeah, that game's good. Which, I know that you're not like as indie centric as Moose and I are, but like Undertale is really good. And anything else to add to your advice to Corey?
Yeah, I mean, that's just really the big thing. Let your kid find their way and introduce, but don't expect them to embrace everything, because guess what? You don't start from scratch. You start from a certain place. And, I started with the Atari 5200, and I wouldn't bless that horrible piece of shit on anybody. The worst analog stick that didn't center. Come on. Horrible. But that's where I started. And I had the Commodore 128. I mean, horrible PC. So I would not bless that on my son. He's in a good spot, but he's finding his way, and I will introduce things as it pulses in. And I'm so happy that he's introducing me to things too. I'm growing through him.
Yeah. That's a cool fucking thing to hear, Todd. Thank you. I'm glad you're the first. I'm glad you're the first one of these because you did it well. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Now, what are y'all playing? Guest.
Mm.
What are you playing?
First. What are you playing,
So
sir?
I'm playing actually a couple things.
Okay.
Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon.
Yes.
It's that little $10. It's the precursor. I guess it was part of their.
It was
Kickstarter
a stretch goal in their Kickstarter campaign,
and it's pretty ingenious. I'm not very good at it. I'm gonna admit that my skill set has declined.
I am as good at that game as I was at Castlevania. Yes. Guess what?
Exactly.
Wasn't very good at that.
Exactly. But the thing they introduce is there's 4 characters that they drop into this game that all the different skill set, and basically they are your lives essentially. Rather than you have 4 lives, you have 4 different characters
because you can switch on the fly.
Exactly. And then those characters, like there's a guy who has a bat. He basically can cross basically across gaps and things like that. If you don't have them, you're kind of fucked. So it kind of sucks that there's those type of things, but it's really that taking something that essentially is hardcore Castlevania, but they've upgraded it and made it interesting and taken pieces of like Castlevania 1, 2, and 3. And so that's pretty cool on Switch. I don't play a lot of Switch because I know I'm horrible, but I absolutely hate the Joy-Cons from a control perspective. I don't think they're very good. They're better than like the Vita or on.
They could be a lot worse, but they're not.
Oh
good.
Yes, no, and that's what I'm saying. I love the Pro controller. So eventually, maybe Nintendo will bless me with like Pro Cons, as I keep calling that, making it a thing. I'm willing it a thing because I just feel like the Joy-Cons are small. They're not up to. But they're not up to par with the DualShock 4, the Xbox One, or the Pro controller, and that's what everybody's telling me that they're using. My caps are falling off. I've had to have them warranted. They're not the most sturdy, and especially if this is going to be a system that lives for 5 to 7 years, I worry about the durability. So, but that's regardless. But the other game I actually got back into was Doom.
All right,
nice.
The new
on
one,
the Switch.
Right?
No. I'm playing on PS4. 4K.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Right.
That is I'm not a portable player. If I'm going to be somewhere else, I have TV to watch. I have books to read. That's a thing. So I have other interests. So I'm not the person that I'm going to sit on the couch and my wife and I are going to watch a TV show together. So we have to find our time together as a couple. And if it's all gaming centric, then we don't have any time together. So I have to put a kind of a demarcation, say when we're at night, we're going to watch a show together or something we can enjoy and talk about, because she's not a video gamer. So I've learned that that's compromise as you get married for 15 years. You just say, hey, it is what it is. But Doom on the PS4 is awesome. It's beautiful. But I made the distinction to say, I'm just going to have fun. I'm not going to frustrate myself. That's something with games I've learned. I don't want to bang my head against the controller. So I'm playing it on the easy mode, and I find it so much fun. It's just a fun game. I love the concept. I love what they've done with the gameplay and mechanic of take risk, you'll get a reward. I love that. It's fun. It's over the top. By not playing at a higher difficulty, I don't feel like I'm cheating myself. I'm just having a good time. So it's been fun. I loved it. I got the game for like $12 from Best Buy. I'm having a blast.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
That's what games are.
Yes.
Having fun.
I mean, if you're playing a game and it's not fun, you should play a different game.
Mm-hmm.
So, Moose, how about you, sir?
I have been trying to wrap up Mafia 3.
I thought you did. Did I not say that?
I did. No. I'm just leading into it. So I've been trying to wrap that up for the Nerds Gone Platinum 2018 challenge. I did wrap it up. I wrapped it up this weekend, I think Saturday. Finished that game. I loved that game. It gets repetitive. Gameplay gets repetitive because, all right, so run it down. You're basically come back to your person who's going off to Vietnam. You come back, you do some things for this guy, and then the mob screws you over, and so you're just like out for revenge, which is cool. And you have districts that you can take over, and there's 2 rackets per district, and you basically do missions and stuff to take over the racket in the district. And once you take over both rackets, then you do some missions, and you kill or try and take on the mob boss who runs that district. And if you kill him, you get the district, and you get to award it to one of your underlings. Well, it gets repetitive in that where it's just like the same thing kind of over and over again. I was talking to Jeff about it. There's no fast travel in the game, but I will admit the soundtrack in the game makes it fun to drive the cars. Like you're driving and it's like 60s music. It's got like Stones. It's got Creedence Clearwater Revival. It's got like the Animals. I mean, it's got Aretha Franklin. It's got Supremes, Diana Ross and the Supremes, because I don't know, they released a song with her, whatever, records. But anyways, the soundtrack is freaking phenomenal.
Maybe Where Did Our Love Go? No,
but the soundtrack is awesome, and the collectibles are cool, and the story is awesome. I think they did a really good job with the story. I had a lot of fun playing the game. And I'd love to go back and platinum it, so that's something I'm going to do next year, obviously, because I have the challenge. So I highly recommend, if you like it, the deluxe edition, which has the DLC, cannot be any more than probably $20, $30. This holiday season. I highly recommend you pick it up and try it out. It's a great game. They've also fixed a lot of the bugs, and they've streamlined the game mechanics with a lot of updates in the DLC as well. So I have come back to the game. So playing it now recently, I haven't played it since it first came out in October of 2016, I think it was. So that's almost, it's a year and a half. And a year and a half later, I'm like, this is like playing different. Like, what is going on here? And like, I looked it up, and it's like they did a lot of stuff to improve some bugs in the game, to improve some game mechanics and some quality of life stuff. So I highly recommend checking it out and playing it if you can. And then I rolled right from that into Final Fantasy 15. So Final Fantasy 15 is on my challenge list, and I wanted to do an RPG because I was like, I've done some shooters, and I'm like, I just want something that's not a shooter. And I'm actually having a blast with Final Fantasy 15. This is the first Final Fantasy main game that I've played in forever. So I have played the MMO, yes. Yeah. So when I bought a PS4, I got Final Fantasy 14 and played it, A Realm Reborn, played that a bit. But it is the first main story Final Fantasy game I've played since I think I dabbled a little bit in 12. Which makes me sad. It's nice that it's on PS4, so probably I'll probably buy it holiday season. I'll probably buy 12 holiday season and then play it next year sometime. But the game that the last Final Fantasy I played to hell and beat was 10. I skipped 11 because it was an MMO. I played a little bit of 12, and then 13. All the 13s, I was just like, whatever.
Nope.
Never got into them. Just didn't have the time. I was playing other things. So I never got around to them. I have a PS3, so I'll probably download them at some time and play them. But I'm enjoying the battle system. I'm enjoying the questing. I'm having a good time with the fishing and all that stuff. So I look forward to playing more of it. Been playing Octopath Traveler on the Switch. Thoroughly enjoying that. I started with Ulbrich, who is the warrior. I went and got Tressa, who is the merchant, and I just finished Cyrus's mission yesterday. So now I have him, and I'm going to Ophelia. I can't remember what class she is, but that's the next town that I'm going to get her. Enjoying that a lot, and that's pretty much all I have been playing.
Hey, Moose.
Yes.
Have you watched Final Fantasy Kingsglaive?
No, I have not. I have access to it, and
you should watch it apparently before you play 15. But I have it on Blu-ray. So,
ooh,
yeah.
So maybe I will watch that before I play any more of it. Okay.
You should. Yeah,
that's a good suggestion. I appreciate that, Todd.
I think it's like 2 hours. It's a pretty cool story.
Okay. And I know there was also a free game that they had. They put out with the digital deluxe, and I don't know if that has any story elements to it, but I know now a buddy of mine who's a huge Final Fantasy fan is saying that the Royal Edition, which is basically like the Season 2 DLC pass, basically like finishes the game and pretty much makes it what it should have been when they released it. What was it? 2 years ago? They released it in 2016, I think. Holiday season 2016. So,
did you see the Power Rangers mod somebody made?
No, I did not see that.
They made all the main characters are Power Rangers. It's
that's awesome.
Pretty effing hilarious.
That's bonkers.
Nice. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing. And if you listen to the B-side, I just got End is Nigh, and I'm looking to dive into that. And obviously some more Hollow Knight. But that's pretty much which is on my radar right now.
Both of those are fantastic games.
Oh, I need to play that game. It's on my Switch.
And End is Nigh was one of my favorite games of last year. And Hollow Knight is probably the best game I've played this year.
Hollow Knight is really fun. So if you have it on your Switch, Todd, I recommend playing it. Like I'm doing this thing where I have the challenge games, and so like my lunch break is my Switch time. So like I have an hour. So like I actually have I have like an hour exactly because I'll eat before I go on lunch, and so I'll eat while I'm working. Then I'll take my lunch, so I have a full hour to play. And I'll like dive into Octopath Traveler. I'll play some Hollow Knight, and now obviously End is Nigh. So those 3 games will probably be on rotation for a while. But I recommend it. It's a great game.
Yeah, it was funny because I had company a couple weeks ago, and one of the kids was 20 years old who visited, and I had bought Overcooked, and they'd never played it before. And there was a 20-year-old girl, or a 20-year-old boy, a 16-year-old girl, and my son, and they played Overcooked for the first time, and they just had a blast.
Nice.
So the magic of Switch really happens.
That game looks like a good. I'm interested in both of those games, but like I don't have people that play.
Well, here's the
you can play it with your spouse, Matt, and maybe.
Well, see, I've mentioned it. I've actually mentioned it to her, and she's like, I don't know if that's my speed. I'm gonna hijack this now and go into what I've been playing, if you don't mind.
Right, that's fine.
Okay. Reba has earned a platinum trophy.
Oh, wow. She has one more than me.
She has one more than Todd, which I'm really glad that I could say that. But no, we have I found this. Well, Moose found this game and brought up to me called Adventure Pals. It's a rather bonkers 2D platformer. Showed it to Reba. She was like, "Yeah, I'll play that," and we played it. And we just had a ball with it. And I said, "Hey, do you want to go through this again and get all the trophies?" She's like, "Yes." So we did that, and then we got her the platinum yesterday. Then we started Unravel 2. That was one that I saw, and I kind of I'm trying. Like, Reba does not want to be a gamer, and I'm not going to force her to be. But when we started dating, and she noticed, like I told her that I host a show about video games, and I do a lot with that, and I play a lot. And she's like, "Okay, well, let me talk to you about this and figure it out." And she just sort of has tried to bridge her way in, which is cool. So I'll show her games that I think she can handle. And like she and I played Spelunky co-op a lot, and she had a ball doing that. But she loved Adventure Pals, and we started playing Unravel 2. Unravel 2 is really cool. It's a lot more difficult than I expected it to be, and the puzzles are just they just push you enough to not get frustrated, which is nice. So I know we're going to keep playing. I don't know how long, but I go with those games until she gets bored, which is how I will proceed there. I finished and 100%ed Captain Toad.
Wow! Congratulations, sir.
That game is still really, really good. And for some reason, I completely forgot about the Toadette sequences, and I forgot how hard they are. They are way more difficult than you expect them to be. And it's really cool that like everything around that game just circles or just like focuses in on Captain Toad and him doing his thing, and everything's all happy and he's just wandering around. And then basically the second half of the game is, instead of rescuing Toadette, you're rescuing Captain Toad, and shit gets crazy in some of those levels in a good way. And that is it. That is still a really cool game. Danielle Riendo wrote a really good review on Waypoint about it. Waypoint.vice.com, I think, is the URL. Go find it. It's a really good review. I basically agree with her on everything, or at least everything about that game. And then I jumped back into Binding of Isaac on Switch. Like I started it last Thursday at work, and I just like, I don't attack a roguelike like I do something like God of War, where I look at like a finite end. And I always just try and hone skills and work on mechanics. It's actually almost like you're practicing playing a sport in a weird way. Like you have to do all this other stuff before you actually get to shooting hoops, for example. Like, that was how basketball practice went. But I was doing it on the Switch, and when I could. And then we got home and played. We finished Adventure Pals and Unravel 2, or played it. And then she said she was going to bed. I'm like, I'm going to play Binding of Isaac. And I played Binding of Isaac, and I ended up beating it for the first time ever. And I got a trophy there. I got like 5 trophies last night. I got beating the game. I unlocked Samson, Eve, and Eden, as well as the Book of Sin, and beating Isaac's mom's heart, which is the end of after you beat it the first time. That game just keeps getting longer and as you finish it, and that is probably one of the better roguelikes I've ever played. Not because like I feel like the mechanics could be a little tighter, but I feel like it does random generation really, really well. I like how Edmund McMillan calls it RN Jesus. But I like how all of the randomness in it sort of coalesces into something really nice. Especially as you do more things and you just start unlocking things. Like what I find myself doing as I like dig into that game is I pay attention when I unlock something, and then see what I did to do that. And it's a really cool thing, and it has its hooks in me in a way that I didn't expect to happen again, but it did, and I love it. So I've been playing that, and then like today at work, I did my whole. I brought my big headphones, and I went down to the lunchroom, basically hunched over, and I like did like 15 or 20 runs on my lunch, trying to just do more in that game on Switch. It's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, if you want a roguelike that looks like top-down Zelda dungeons with a lot of poop. Like, there's a lot of poop in this game.
Yeah. Don't you attack with your tears?
Yeah. Well, that's how Isaac attacks.
Well, okay.
Well, actually, I think all of the human-ish characters attack with tears. You could be Azazel who attacks with lasers. And he flies.
Nice.
And he's a bit OP, but it's all right.
Is he a fallen angel?
He's a demon, actually.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was gonna go with one of the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but that game is really cool. There are tons of secrets in it, and it's fun to stumble upon secrets when it happens. Like, if you remember the original Legend of Zelda, when you blow up something and you see like the stairway, and you go down, and it's that long stairway. Then you go over, and there's like a little room with a treasure chest where you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's how there are those in Binding of Isaac. Like they completely lifted it, and they do it really well.
Nice.
The game's really good. I'm so glad you've jumped on the Ed McMillan train. And I do know mid episode today you sent me a picture of you buying the Binding of Isaac, preceded by a fuck you, Matt. And
yes,
now you know how I felt about Octopath Traveler.
Okay.
Fuck you for making me buy a really good game.
But you're enjoying it, so
I'm basically kind of saving it now because I enjoyed the demo. But it'll be something I definitely go back to and finish before the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's what I've been playing. We got a couple of things to talk about, gentlemen.
Yes, we do.
So Todd brought this up. The James Gunn thing. Director removed from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And now I was trying to do a little more research into this today, just because I knew why he was taken off. It was like for offensive tweets from 10 years ago, and I found what the tweets said. I didn't think these are just bad jokes.
Yep.
Rather than
like this is my belief and this is where I stand type statements. Like,
I mean, this is not that politician talking about rape in a way that like, oh well, if a woman's being raped, like her body knows and the vagina just shuts that down.
No.
Like no, it's not that at all.
Yeah. No. Not at all. I agree.
And I mean, I'm gonna let you go into this more, but like this is, and I'm not really sure. Like, I'm not really sure why the guy was fired, to be honest with you. Because
it's an odd thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's some material there that could be easily misconstrued today as, oh, this guy said this then, so that's clearly what he believes. It's not like, but like, because of the way that they're worded, it kind of, if you start to go down that rabbit hole, you look like the idiot in this scenario, not the guy who wrote bad jokes 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But now there's like a big old campaign to get him back.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I mean, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with James Gunn, but going back, he is synonymous with schlock and shock. He started off with the Trauma Film Corps, which was Lloyd Kaufman. He did, Lloyd Kaufman started off with the Toxic Avengers. All those things. James Gunn's first movie was Romeo and Juliet, and it was an over-the-top thing where two star-crossed lovers who ended up being related had inbred sex and had inbred babies and things like that. But he was known for a unique style, and then he went on to make more mainstream things in a way, but still shocking. A movie called Slither, which is kind of like essentially like The Blob.
I remember that movie.
Yeah. Michael Rooker was in that movie.
Yeah.
Kind of gross. Nathan Fillion was in that movie, but it was still over the top, kind of gross, but fun and interesting. He made wrote a game called Lollipop Chainsaw. Remember that one?
Yeah, I didn't know he wrote that.
He wrote that. So,
wow. Okay.
This is a guy that he made a movie called Hero, I believe it was called, or no, Super, and it was about Ray Wilson, who basically tried to be a superhero but made a lot of bad decisions and beat the shit out of people and killed them. So
wow.
But
yes.
He was always a controversial person, always went to shock. And the fact is that he did these things before Disney hired him.
For the shock
so he stopped doing these things after Disney hired him.
Yeah.
And he even admitted he felt horrible for tweeting things. He actually admitted it, lived up to it. So in a way, I kind of think Disney knew what he was hired him anyway, knew his past, and when
Still gave him the shaft.
And somebody uncovered this and said, in sight unseen, basically fired him. But still hasn't ceased producing those films in DVD and Blu-ray, hasn't pulled them off the shelves, still is selling them, still is making money off of them. So it becomes a scenario of like, come on, Disney, you hired Robert Downey Jr.,
who's had a horrible drug addiction.
Exactly. He was a redemption story, and he deserved a second chance. But remember, he was found in somebody's bedroom, could have caused bodily harm to a person and all these bad things. And yet we look at him as kind of like the redemption story, and that's a good thing. And we should allow people to make basically a redemption.
You should be able to turn yourself around. You should be able to turn it around.
And this is just a joke. This would be like a comedian and saying what they say should be taken at face value versus what they actually do in their real life, causing harm. And I know some people say, well, this is empowered pedophiles. Really? I mean, are we going down that path? Bad humor and bad choices doesn't mean you're actually empowering those. You're basically kind of putting it out there that this is horrible behavior. We're not embracing it. I don't know. That's my perspective. It just seems it's a weird thing. And, we've had people in games and that have done horrible things. And, does a mistake mean that you're, and I mean, and quite honestly, is this behavior or these tweets from 10 years ago meaning that James Gunn can never have a career again?
Yeah.
Because that's what essentially we're saying. Disney's saying basically because of this crap that happened years ago, we're never going to employ him again, and he's box office poison now.
Well, he might not be box office poison, but he's not employable by Disney.
Yeah.
They're coming out, I mean, fucking racists of racism. Like going on like
the Song of the South.
Yeah, Song of the South.
Like, I mean, like, really, Disney? Like, really? Come on.
I mean, I believe like, Mr. Disney was a big fan of hated Jews, right?
This is my stance. What they should have done is they should have allowed him to react to it. This person was obviously trying to stoke a fire, trying to cause some problems, and that's one of my things with like the social networking and internet and all that stuff. It's just people are just being dicks to be dicks half the time. And it's like, yeah, like you said, Todd, like jokes that like he's been in the shock wheelhouse for a while now. And then as soon as Disney hired him, he was kind of like, okay, not I need to clean up my acts. I mean, not that he was bad, but you know what I mean? Like he just is like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm working for Disney now. I'm doing Guardians of the Galaxy, which he did a tremendous job with. Love that movie. That's one of my favorite Marvel movies. Volume 2, second. It's one of my top, 5, whatever. And it's just like you said, you hired him knowing where he was coming from. There should have been some due diligence. Some searching for some skeletons in the closet.
Oh no! Don't. I'll be honest with you. And they knew. There's no way.
But see, that's the thing, and it's like so. My question is, and this is my thing: what if he was not going the direction they wanted to go with Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Ooh, I like this twist.
And this. Either they kind of got this guy to dig some stuff up and they said, oh, we'll use this to get rid of him, or or this guy just dug it up and they saw it as an opportunity to get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Like that has to be it, because you can't look at a director or a film creator's past or where they're coming from and look at his and say, we're Disney, we're going to hire him, we're wholesome, you know what I mean? And hold him to it, you know what I mean? And not, like, if I was Disney and we were on good behavior, I would at least let him defend himself, and then maybe thrown Robbie Downey Jr. under the bus and been like a Robert Downey Jr., he had a horrible drug addiction, he was able to turn around, he's a great redemption story. James Gunn, not that he did anything horrible, but you know, he's turning around. He's making some great films for us, for Disney, you know. And if if he came out and said, yeah, sorry for those stupid ass jokes, they were 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I said stupid shit 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And it's just like, thankfully,
it's not like he said I'm pro pedophile today.
Right. Right.
I mean,
But it's just, now, like, I feel like the other side of this is like I first became aware of the James Gunn thing, and I didn't know who he was, just because I don't pay attention to movies that much anymore. But Patrick Klepek from Waypoint posted on Twitter like he should be given time. He should be given the distance between what he said and the time to have grown.
Right.
And I feel like, and like people just ran at him like, oh yeah, like Louis C.K. was given time to grow, like Bill Cosby was given time to grow. And I'm like, I feel like it's different because
that's completely fucking different.
I feel like it's different because, I mean, well, knowing what I know
versus words.
Yeah, knowing what I know now versus what I knew when I saw Patrick Klepek's tweet. I was like, he said dumb jokes. They were poorly written jokes, but they were definitely jokes.
Yes. Yes. It's not his freaking beliefs.
Louis C.K. whipping out his little fella and having a good old time in front of women is way different.
Yeah. Bill Cosby fucking
Bill Cosby drugging
multiple.
Like, and it's different when it's framed as a bad joke. Like, I mean, I have a personal fandom of Bill Cosby's stand-up, Bill Cosby himself, but I can't watch it anymore because the motherfucker was doing.
Yeah,
like it's way different.
It ruins it for you. Like Louis C.K.'s ruined for me. Like, Kevin Spacey's ruined for me. Dustin Hoffman.
Like,
although his is only.
I mean, Todd saying what he said. Like James Gunn was part of the trauma house, and I'm like,
yeah.
Like, oh, that makes even more sense. That makes him probably one of the better trauma writers. Those two bad jokes, but like, you know, clearly Disney hired him, and like
they wanted an edge. I also think it might not be like he's going the route that they don't want him to go, but he's making more money than they want him to make, and this was a way to take the series away from him and kick him off of it and give him what's rightfully his, which is the amount of money that they fucking owe him. Because, in all honesty, I have no problem with the Marvel movies. I like the Marvel movies, but I like what he's done with the Marvel movies because it's just more entertaining to me. You know, like you sit there and you watch like the Avengers, tired. You know, like Thor, tired. You know, tired, and you just like there's that superhero fatigue. But I feel what he's done with it is he's like re-energized it and made it entertaining. You know, and so it sucks that it happened, and I really wish he could have finished his trilogy before he stepped away or walked away. In all honesty, I'd love to see the main actors of Guardians of the Galaxy be like, "Fuck you, Disney. We're not, you know, recast us. I'm not going to be in your films without, you know, James Gunn." Like, I would like to see Dave Bautista stand up.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see Pratt and everybody
stand up. They're all and just be like, "Listen, it's 10 years ago. It was a shitty fucking joke. Look at your history, Disney. Look at your history. You know what I'm saying? Look at Robert Downey Jr.'s history." And you can't sit there and say that this guy doesn't deserve redemption. Like, if you can't do that, then like that's terrible. You know what I mean? It
sets a bad precedent because everybody has that past, and if it's a criminal past, that's a different story. If it's what you said, and if it's taken out of context, or even if they walk back what they've said, and he had some comments, James Gunn did, and he even apologized for them before this to other people he thought that he offended. So you're taking away people's ability to change, mature. Social media is still in its infancy, and
yes,
I mean, I've got cousins and relatives who did dumbass shit, drinking underage on Facebook. And quite honestly, if you're going to be a young professional and you saw that, it's like, what's your judgment if you did that? I mean, people make dumbass shit decisions, and I'm glad I grew up before social media. And we say stupid things, and they sometimes are not tempered by experience, because you don't get that until you have done the dumb, stupid thing and then learn from it.
You have to learn.
Yeah.
You have to do dumb shit so you can learn from it.
Right,
exactly.
You learn from your mistakes. You learn from your mistakes.
But you're right, Moose. I mean, in regards to like an auteurship and bringing something new to the table, James Gunn really, I think, reinvigorated the Marvel franchise, just like Taika Waititi, who, you know, did the Flight of the Conchords, some of those episodes and things like that, and brought a sense of you know, self about itself. And even like, you know, Ryan Coogler, who brought Black Panther to the forefront. You need people who aren't just pieces of cogs to bring something special to the screen. And if you say, you know, hey, what if Ryan Coogler said something militaristic or something that was against a dumbass crackers doing stuff that was horrible, you know, that were horrible to other people of ethnicity and things like that. Would Disney step back and say, no, you can't do that because you are trying to force a discussion and things like that? I don't think they would. So it's a weird thing, because it can't be, you know, we embrace one behavior and then we can't have it in the other end. I don't know. It just becomes a frustrating thing. It's kind of like, you know, Kojima, when, you know, he was doing things on his own and trying to have a voice, and he was silenced by Konami.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same thing where, you know, an auteur, sometimes you got to give him a little bit of breathing room to make something special.
Yeah.
Take that away.
He's on his own now. So, I mean, he's... Yeah. But it's still insane. Like, I would have... It's crazy how he was just like silent about it.
Yeah.
Instead of like rebellious. But you know, I mean, now he's out on some.
Is that a Japanese behavior versus, you know, cultural thing versus
I guess
like Cliffy B, or maybe it was a you know, another, I mean, think what was it, the Infinity Ward guys?
See, here's the thing. I think
they were like, "You will go make our own thing," and now we've.
I think the Kojima fans made that a lot more dramatic than it actually was. I think Konami wanted him out. They probably said, "Hey, we don't want you to do this anymore, and we're going to release your game. We're going to take your name off it because we own everything." And I mean, is it in poor taste? Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Kojima wasn't done a little bit dirty in Metal Gear Solid 5, but there was, I mean, like, let's be honest. Metal Gear Solid 5 comes out, gets all the accolades that it got. Everybody was super on board with it. And then all of a sudden Konami says, yeah, fuck you, Kojima. We don't want to deal with you anymore. Again, here we are again. Oh, fuck Konami because they're assholes. Well, you know, I'll bet you Kojima spent a lot more of their money than they wanted him to.
It's probably true. Probably dragged it out longer than it needed to. You know, like they say, there's two sides to every story.
Yeah,
and
like people were telling me how profitable Metal Gear Solid 5 was, how many copies it sold. I go, you don't know how much they spent to make it.
Exactly. Yeah. What's your ROI?
Yeah. I mean, here you go.
You can't just break even on a game.
That's not you have to make a profit, and not necessarily just a profit, a sizable profit.
Yeah. You want to make, I mean, and I will say this from a business perspective, you know, my company, they gauge things on like a 35% profit margin, or you can't reinvest. You can't give your employee raises. You can't do certain things. You can't buy new computers. You can't do those things that make life worth living. You can't give them better healthcare. You can't just, you know, and that's where, you know, that becomes a tough thing. So being an auteur, if you take your ship down with you, if you sacrifice all those people that are working for you, that's a tough thing too. So, you know, and the thing with James Gunn, I mean, I don't know how many people he employed with him, but that's money made. But I mean, I feel sorry for the folks they're going to have to then make Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and it's going to be a pale comparison. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Edgar Wright and his. He originally basically crafted Ant-Man. That's how Ant-Man became an actual movie. He came up with the idea for it. Basically, came up with all these things, and Disney said, "You're too creative. You're too unique." And they basically said, "We don't want you anymore." So Edgar Wright says, "I can't do this. I can't deal with this." And he moved on and made Baby Driver. But most of those ideas that came through in Ant-Man were his creation, a lot of the shrinking and things like that. But I think of what would have he had delivered with Ant-Man would have been more than just it's a fun movie with some cool creative elements.
It's a good Paul Rudd movie.
Exactly. It's okay. But I mean, if you think of like Baby Driver, I mean, it has its faults, but what he did with music and driving and things like that, it's like, that's a cool heist film that doesn't have any right to be that cool. Right?
Yeah. But see that, I mean, I think some of the Edgar Wright movies are really cool with having. I mean, like, let's be honest, Shaun of the Dead, like that is, when you hear that movie pitched, that is not a great zombie movie.
No.
Like, I'm like, romantic comedy with zombies, yeah.
That's Warm Bodies, and everybody remembers Warm Bodies.
Yeah, nobody remembers that because they went and saw Shaun of the Dead and they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is kind of great.
Exactly.
And then Hot Fuzz, like the big budget cop movie that everybody seems to like making, but no one can make good ones. Oh, I made a good one.
Exactly. Timothy Dalton is the bad guy. Come on.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Love that movie.
Come the fuzz. I did not like. What was the one he did after
The World's End?
No. I love that movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
What was it? The Scott Pilgrim. That's the one I did not like.
Yeah, I mean, I love the graphic novel of Scott Pilgrim. I mean, I think he did a great job with it, but I mean, it's not for everybody.
Like, I feel like that's a good story, and I feel like he wanted to put way more into it than would fit. Yeah. And then I've actually not seen Baby Driver. I keep wanting to.
Oh my God, Matt!
I love Edgar Wright, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be my jam.
It's the most music centric Edgar Wright film you'll ever get, and it's fantastic. It's really good. Okay. Yeah, you've got to see it.
Oh no, I will. I just time.
John Hamm is an excellent heavy.
Is he?
Nice.
Oh, he is excellent.
See, like, as someone who, like, my partner really loved Mad Men, I'm like, I never liked this show.
I never watched it.
I mean, everyone tried to tell me how good it looked. I'm like, nah, I think this looks kind of plain. I don't know.
I love him from 30 Rock, where he played a jerk comedian type of guy. I like him in that role.
Yeah, he was great in that.
Yeah, he's a good heavy, though.
Yeah. I liked his brief appearance in Parks and Rec, where he got, like, fired real quick. That was good. Okay, so we are now at 4 minutes to 10. And I know that means we are 4 minutes away from losing Todd.
We've got about 15 minutes, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. We had mentioned another thing, and I completely forgot what it was because I was so engrossed in the James.
Hate on Sony.
Yes, Sony hate.
Todd. Yeah, I brought this up because, I've got a lot of friends who run podcasts that do things that are Xbox centric and
no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like they've spent more time talking about the Sony hate rather than talking about their own platforms. I just think it's kind of silly that, why do you focus on the competition rather than what's great about your console, your infrastructure? And I just thought that's very odd considering ultimately in this generation, Sony made a lot of mistakes, PS2 to PS3, but PS4, excluding the Fortnite stuff, they've pretty much been a fantastic way to run a console where, there's been so many good games and deals and dollars and things like that I'm just like, it's kind of weird that it's like, it's weird that a system that has a game of the year where none of the other systems have a game of the year, yet we're saying Sony's doomed. It just kind of comes off as hollow and just short-sighted. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I remember the 80s when Janet Jackson released a very, very, very prominent hit single, What Have You Done For Me Lately?
Yeah. Hey, that's a great song. It's a great song.
And it's all too appropriate right now because that's what they've done lately. I mean, I was listening to friend of the show Kenny Hall's podcast, and they were talking about the Uncharted thing with Nathan Fillion,
which was cool.
That surfaced, and like apparently that's really good, and like
it is.
And like it is so on the nose that it should be taken down, but guess what? Sony's probably not going to take it down because hey, that's good press for them at this point, which is like, and we briefly touched on this at the end of last episode, where Xbox and Nintendo are just piling on. They're like, oh look, we could play Fortnite together. We can play Minecraft together. And I'm just like, that's fucking rich, Nintendo, making everybody get, your stupid app so they can talk online, or just completely allowing a feature that's in there to be just shut off because you're afraid the kids are going to get corrupted. Guess what? They're going to do it without your help. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest. There are people I work with now that think I grew up without electricity, but I had better access to drugs than they did. Yep. Guess what? That's just how life is.
Cornfield parties.
Right? I mean, I went to better raves out there in the middle of nowhere than I'll ever find here. Why? Because we had space to do it. But like, I'm completely on Todd's side here because I feel like it's a dumb thing. I feel like they're just trying really, really hard to illuminate the one fault in Sony's attachment to Fortnite, which I mean, not really, but like the association of Fortnite and Sony. Like, oh, I can't do my Fortnite account on my Switch because I predominantly play on PS4. And I've seen like friends of mine just go, oh yeah, this is stupid. I'll never do this again. I'm like, wait, what? But like 2 weeks ago, you were all about God of War. Before that, you were all about Monster Hunter on PS4. And now it's just, oh, you can't play. You can't unlock everything you bought on Switch. So now your life is over.
It's ridiculous. Just unlock it again.
Like either get good at the game and earn the currency, or just deal with it. It's just a game,
right? And also, here's the other thing, and I hate to cut you off, Todd, but
that's okay.
How much more are you going to play the game on your fucking Switch than you are on your PS4?
Yeah, that thing that just connects to the internet real easily versus the thing you have to make sure you are attached to an internet.
Or not like my PS4 is already hooked to the internet. I don't have to come home and try and hook up to the internet and be like, oh, I was in airplane mode. Oh, now I gotta turn it on to Wi-Fi. Like they're trying to make it sound like it's so easy to get on the internet with the Switch and play Fortnite, and they're like, oh well, screw Sony because they're not wanting to play with us. And it's like, no, like the Switch, it's like that's it. Anyways, Todd, what were you gonna say?
Well, I just think it's funny that this is one game, and it's a snapshot in time.
Yeah,
Fortnite wasn't the biggest thing in the world 6 months ago.
Right.
No,
it's not gonna always be the biggest thing in the world 6 months from now. PUBG was the biggest thing, and that was an exclusive for Xbox. And were people complaining, "Hey, I can't play PUBG on my PS4." Evil Xbox has taken away PUBG from PlayStation 4. We should be angry because they've taken it away from us. It's an exclusive. We can't have that. They're horrible. No, people are saying that because
guess who made bank off of that shit?
Yep.
Fortnite. You know why?
Exactly.
Here's the thing.
And PlayStation really embraced Fortnite. They said, "Hey, it's on our system. Play, have fun."
You're like, we don't have this. We got this other battle royale thing.
Here's the talking points. Like when people sit there and say, "Oh, we got PUBG on Xbox, and you aren't going to get it." Like in the initial, before Fortnite got really big, it was like, oh, and I was kind of like, I won't be able to try PUBG unless I get a PC. Okay, I'll play it on PC because I got a PS4. But then it's like, as I was playing Fortnite, I was enjoying Fortnite, and I'm like, I don't need PUBG. I'm having fun with Fortnite, and Fortnite actually has like a building mechanic to it where you can build structures to hide in and build like defenses around you to try and survive more than just like I'm a duck and cover. You know what I mean? And not only that, but Epic Epic has totally eaten the lunch of the guys that develop PUBG. I can't remember the name of their developer because they're
Bluehole,
Bluehole, because Epic does a better job of putting out games. I mean, look, Gears, Unreal, all that stuff. So they know how to put out games, and they are reacting faster to their player base demand than PUBG is. Like, you look at, like, PUBG doesn't update the game. They give you shitty ass fucking season like passes that you can buy that don't last as long. So,
well, I feel like I need to stop you real quick, Moose, just because we have to unpack a little bit here. Epic did develop the 100 player technology, or at least they helped Bluehole
yes, they did
get it working.
Yes,
and then they said
because it's on their engine. It's on the Epic engine.
Then they said, "Oh, well, we have this. Why not try this? Why not try this in our thing that no one's really sure is even a game?"
Well, yes, because it was Fortnite was in beta, and then they put out the Battle Royale, and the Battle Royale took off, and now they're more invested in that than they are the actual Fortnite game. But also, here's the other thing: you've got people who are hating on Sony now. With Rocket League, it was an issue as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cross-play with my friends in Rocket League. But here's the difference: with Rocket League, I couldn't be in a party with people in PC and Switch and Xbox and play Rocket League together. If I wanted, it was just playing. If you got in a match with somebody, it just happened. It wasn't like Fortnite now is like they have their own party structure inside their own game where you can join with people who are playing on PC, Switch, and Xbox and can actually play a game together instead of a random encounter. And so that is where I can see where a lot more rage is coming from. But here's my stance. Xbox didn't want to have anything to fucking do with crossplay when they were on top.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sony was like, you know, when Xbox is crying this out, it's like, hey, where were you in 2006, 2007 when we were trying to do it? You know? And so now it's like.
But see, now the Xbox fans are like, hey, like James Gunn, we have to let him grow.
Right.
And we have to let them mature from their decision.
No.
Now they want to because they're losing.
Right.
Netflix used to be paywalled behind Xbox Live. It's kind of funny that you think about that, and it's you know, it's weird. In the Nintendo back in the day, they even Splatoon 1 on Wii U, they said we aren't allowing voice chat because it may hurt others' feelings if they make fun of you if you're losing. So Nintendo essentially was saying voice chat is bad because it's going to make you feel bad. But now they're saying it's cool. It just becomes it's
now cool because we can do it with Xbox, the original bad place.
Yeah, exactly. And it is just kind of funny. But you don't open these doors when you're leading because essentially it's a move you make when you need to get ground back, and that's the only reason both of these they're doing it. And you know what? Every leader tends to make bad decisions sometimes because they get cocky. But this is a few of the decisions, and obviously the other one is, hey, I can't change my name. That's hopefully coming. That's a stupid thing. Hopefully they fix it. I mean, nobody is you know, I guess blameless for their stupid behavior, but you know, but this is
you need to think things through.
Yeah. But this is Sony's first gen of actually charging for you know, online. This is going to be Switch's first generation charging online, and guess what? Switch is going to start charging you for online without actually a game that's going to open up their system at this point, because Smash isn't going to be launching until December. So you're going to pay for 3 months of games you used to get for free. You're going to have to pay for now, which is just weird. You know, it's an odd thing.
Well, you're going to be paying for the virtual console.
That's so those excellent NES games that I hate to say it, but
they have not.
I'll go get an emulator.
Some of them have aged really, really well. Some of them have not.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to play any of them.
You know, you get boards. You know, so you can see who's doing better than others. I mean, maybe some online attributes, but it just seems kind of silly. It's a good deal. I mean, it's $20 for yourself, but I mean, but I don't know. Yeah. I just think it's kind of silly and short sighted that in the last 6 months that where Sony has basically created a game of the year candidate. Xbox has not, or Nintendo hasn't delivered a game that's of the caliber that's excellent yet. We're saying Sony's losing. It's a weird narrative.
And I don't even see anything, as far as I know, except maybe some rehashes of some Wii games with Donkey Kong and Captain Toad. But I don't see anything on the horizon for Nintendo that's got Game of the Year, except for Smash Brothers. But that's not going to get Game of the Year just because it's a fighter game.
You guys just talked about an Octopath Traveler, and that's not developed by Nintendo.
Yeah, but see, that's not even Nintendo. So, I mean, and then you look at Xbox. Okay, so what do they got in the fall? They're going to have Forza. That's it. And not only does Sony have one, but they have the possibility of 2 Game of the Years with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now, Spider-Man's done by Insomniac, but it is produced.
Second party, yeah.
Oh, they own it. They own this. They own the actual franchise. Right. They own everything.
They own it. Yeah. And so they are just Insomniac's doing the development of the game for them instead of an in-house developer, which is awesome because I love Insomniac and that's amazing. But that's that's 2 Game of the Year contenders, and it's July, the end of July, and Microsoft and Nintendo have both put out nothing. I mean, well, Mario Tennis Aces, but I've heard a lot of bad things about that.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
the multiplayer is fun, right? And the single player is
sad. Like it was not a complete game. It's almost like they did what Capcom did with Street Fighter V. Yeah. They rushed it out, and hey, I'll buy the collector's edition next year where they have the complete game. But so it's just this whole fighting, trying to make up ground, trying to put another feather in the cap, and trying to be like, buy our system this fall. And so, like you said, like Microsoft and Nintendo are flinging mud, and it's like, especially Nintendo, like you said, Matt, you shouldn't be saying shit.
Yeah, you need to sit the hell down.
Sit the hell down and shut your mouth. Microsoft.
Before we even talk about your bad internet, let's talk about fucking friend codes.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about not having like an online name. Like, I have a fucking friend code. Like, what kind of archaic bullshit is that? That's not even.
There's a reason they started giving robots. There's a reason they started giving robots names, because no one wanted, because THX1138 doesn't exactly roll off the goddamn tongue.
That's a deep cut right there.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And it is kind of funny that, I mean, if you think about this, I mean, they're talking about the indie renaissance on Switch, but every week there's always been 50 or 40 games coming out on PSN that are just as good typically as the Switch games, so it's
not better. Like you could now listen.
Or a lot of them are coming out on PS4 too.
Like I know, like Moonlighter came out. Dead Cells is coming out on both.
Well, Celeste came out on.
Celeste came out on both. Here's
Iconoclast, did that come out?
Yep, it is.
Came out. Well, actually, it came out. From my understanding, it came out on PS4 first.
A lot of times they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. I know a lot of people don't like Jim Sterling, but you watch his videos and he brings some truth to it. Nintendo has opened the floodgates, and now it's just like shit after shit game is launching every week on the Nintendo Switch. And I'm not saying that shit after shit game is not on PSN. They're out there.
Yeah.
Life of the Black Tiger, I think it was called, or whatever, that he loves to pick on. And you look at some of the other games, and it's like, this is insane that both systems. I think that's what also, that's a feature I haven't talked about next gen that I'd love to see for everybody, and continuing for the Switch, because I think the Switch is going to continue into next gen, and they won't get a new one until after that, the beginning. They'll be off schedule. They'll be off schedule, everybody else. But I think, you look at Todd showing us something. I'm trying to see.
This is a game that's on Switch right now. I don't know if you guys can see it very well.
Yeah, it's
that
crazy.
Look family friendly? Does that look family friendly on the Switch?
No,
that's on the Switch.
That maid looks like she might clean up after a family.
Maybe
she might clean up after. Never mind. Anyways, so you look at what they're putting out, and it's that's what I really want next gen, is a curator of their games available. No, this game is absolute shit and plays like shit. It does not belong on our network. And I want them to have a tighter collection and almost bring back what Nintendo did with the license.
The seal of quality?
Yeah, the seal of quality from the Nintendo area, era when like Konami had to go out there and be like, we are putting out way too many good games. We have to make a second company.
We have to make
Ultra.
Oh yeah, Ultra.
We have to make a second company to put out games because we're putting out too many. We want to put out too many games, and they weren't bad.
No,
Konami's games were great, and Ultra's games were great, and it's just like
that was Metal Gear, right? Metal Gear was Ultra.
Yeah,
Metal Gear was Ultra.
Yeah, and it's like I want that. I want curators. I want them to curate what is on their networks and get rid of the shovelware and the shit. You know, like just get rid of it. Because here's the problem. Because you have people out there who are going to buy that shit game just because they see something cool, they like the name of it, they like a screenshot, and then they play it and it's crap, and then they get turned off from like video gaming. And that is my problem with it. But anyway, I'm done. I'm off my
Well, maybe they could take a page from Steam, because Steam does have a curation tool. I know there's like some parameters. No, there's some parameters so like you can be a Steam curator. Yeah,
it kind of tailors your experience.
Because
let's what you see yourself. So it's almost like your listing preferences on a streaming service for music. Okay.
But like I know that there's one thing that I know, and that no matter what, there are going to be bad. There's going to be bad anything coming out. There's always going to be bad music. There's always going to be bad
movies.
There's going to be bad movies. There's
bad TV shows.
All of TV is basically bad at this point.
Pretty much. We had Bible games on NES, right?
What is that?
We had Bible games on NES.
And how many of those were bangers?
Exactly. This to take this full circle. I mean, ultimately. Nobody is innocent when it comes to the console wars, because they all make stupid decisions.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are the victim. They are the champion, depending on where they are at in their success cycle. And, and it's kind of funny. PlayStation's the only modern system that actually improved in growth year over year with the PS1 to PS2. Everybody else has failed from the heights to the lows. So, I hope that the Switch doesn't fall on this path. Xbox has got to make us love them again, and Sony's got to not screw it up, right?
I think they all need to take a page out of each other's books for the next gen. My thing, Nintendo, clean up your online, make it more friendly, user friendly, get rid of the fucking codes, and give us a name, a gamer tag. Microsoft, first party games. Sony, in all honesty, like crossplay. Yeah, it would be cool to play with people, because I got some friends that are on Xbox, and it's like, hey, yeah, I'd love to play Rocket League with them or Fortnite or something, and just sit in a party and chat with them. Like, I think that would be cool. So they can all. Sony definitely. I think they're set in the position to fall the furthest.
Yes.
If they do that. Now I will give Xbox props. They've done a really great job of turning things around. Phil Spencer is awesome. He's done a great job of helping turn around that company. They just bought 5 indie studios that they announced at E3. Looking for, rest in peace. What is it? Team Ninja, who did Hellblade.
Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory. What is it? They had a bunch of real-time strategy teams too.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's just. I hope they can do creatively what they want to do instead of Microsoft forcing them to do what they want them to do, like they've done with Rare. I think if they just let Rare off the leash and let Rare do what they want to do, they'd have some better games. I mean,
I think Rare was in a bad place when Microsoft bought them.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they were fresh off of Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts and Microsoft bought them. Like they were doing some
Jet Force Gemini, then they went to Grab by the Ghoulies.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, I know Todd probably has to be going, so we're gonna wrap this up. This has been episode 105 of Nerds Gone Rogue. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking around. Please like, subscribe, all our shows. Todd, where can we find you?
You can follow us on Secret Friends U on Twitter. You can go on Facebook. We're on Secret Friends Unite. We're a group on Facebook if you want to find us there as well. And then we have an email address, secretfriendsunite@gmail.com. If you want to just complain, that's a great place to complain at us and make us better. So that's, find us there. Have fun. And join us being nerds and talking about comic books and geeky stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
There's more than one kind of nerd.
Exactly.
Way more than one kind. So, Moose, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at Svhenn, SVHENN, on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, although I don't really stream as much as I should. You can listen to me, Jason, and Jeff discuss the PlayStation platform on Nerds Gone Platinum under the Nerds Gone Rogue umbrella. We record every Tuesday night live. You can watch us live, or you can catch us Thursday mornings at, I believe it's 7 or 8. The show goes up. We're also doing some new series. You can keep an eye out for that. You can tweet us at NG_platinum, or you can email us questions, comments, and concerns at nerdsgoneplatinum@gmail.com, and also join our Facebook group, Nerds Gone Platinum. I'm posting in there almost all the time about new games coming out because I'm geeking out because Dead Cells is coming.
Dead Cells is coming. Chasm. Death Stranding.
Just like there's a lot of, and Spider-Man comes out in a month and a half, so I'm excited about that. Amazing. Anyways, that's me, Matt. Where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at infinite_rewind on every social media platform I choose to be on. That's Instagram, Twitter, PSN. We have a friend code on Switch, but that's going to be in the episode description. You can email us at ngrpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your questions, concerns. We'll even talk about your topics. Corey, I know you're going to edit this show. You need to give me the password so I can actually check the email. Just saying. That's on you. Because he's over here in the chat saying someone needs to come back and write this ship. Well, maybe if you did what you said you were going to do, we can be better. Just saying. Check Nerds Gone Rogue on YouTube. We're live tonight, Monday night. We also go live on YouTube every Monday at 9 a.m. Our B-sides go up every Thursday at noon on YouTube and podcast services of your choice. We are on Spotify now. I believe Nerds Gone Platinum is on Spotify now.
I believe we are.
That's the show, gentlemen. Banana and out.
Be there or not, the villain.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.